Senior Directed Stories. Adaptations of children's stories directed by ERHS Seniors.
In our show, we are using American Sign Language. Sometimes a person or a character's name is represented by a singular sign called a name sign. I will say the name of the character, and Grant will sign that character's name sign. Rumpelstiltskin. And here's his name sign. Miller's daughter. And here's her name sign. The Queen. The King. The Messenger. And here's his name sign. And the Miller. And here's his name sign.
Emerald Ridge Theater presents Rumpelstiltskin,
Based on the fairy tale by the Brothers Grimm
directed by Grant Irey
and Erica Losey.
There was once a miller who was poor, but he had one beautiful daughter. It happened one day that he came to speak with the king, and, to give himself consequence, the miller told the king that he had a daughter who could spin gold from straw.
"Oh, great king, my daughter has a wonderful talent. She can make straw become gold. All she needs is a spinning wheel."
Miller, that's an art that pleases me well. If thy daughter is as clever as you say, bring her to my castle tomorrow, that I may put her to the proof.
The next day, the miller brought his daughter to the palace. They said their goodbyes and parted ways. The miller went back to his home, and his daughter was led away by the king. He led her into a room that was quite full of straw, and gave her a wheel and spindle.
Now set to work, and if by the early morning thou hast not spun the straw to gold, thou shalt die.
The king shut the door and left the girl there alone. She could not think what to do for her life. She had no notion how to set to work to spin gold from straw, and her distress grew so great that she began to weep. Then, all at once, a poof of smoke happened in front of her, and in the smoke appeared a little man.
"Good evening, miller's daughter. Why are you crying?"
"Oh, I've got to spin gold out of straw and I don't understand the business."
"What will you give me if I spin it for you?"
"My necklace?"
The little man took the necklace, seated himself before the wheel, and whir, 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 3 times round, and the bobbin was full. And then he took up another, and whir, 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 3 times round, and that was full. And so he went on till the morning, when all the straw had been spun and all the bobbins were full of gold. At sunrise came the king, and he spotted the gold that the miller's daughter had spun.
You've done it. It's marvelous. How did you do it? Never mind that. Come with me this instant.
He led the miller's daughter into another room filled with straw. This room was much bigger than the last.
If you value your life, you will spin all the straw into gold in this one night.
The miller's daughter did not know what to do, so she began to weep and cry. Suddenly, in a poof of smoke, the little man appeared again.
"What will you give me if I spin all this straw into gold once more?"
"The ring from my finger."
And so, the little man took the ring and began again to send the wheel whirring around. And by the next morning, all the straw was spun into glistening gold. The king was rejoiced beyond measure at the sight.
You've done it once more. Quickly, come with me. I have more straw for you to turn.
He led the miller's daughter into a still larger room full of straw.
This too must be spun in one night, and if you accomplish it, you shall be my wife. Although you are but a miller's daughter, I'm not likely to find anyone who can make me richer in the whole world.
As soon as the girl was left alone, the little man appeared for the third time.
What will you give me if I spin the straw for you this time?
I have nothing left to give.
Then you must promise me the first child you have after you are queen.
I do not know if that will happen, and yet I seemingly have no other choice. I promise to give you my firstborn if ever a child is born unto me.
Upon hearing his desires fulfilled, the tiny man began to spin and spin until all the straw was turned to gold. And in the morning, the king came.
You really are a marvel to be seen. Come, we will hold the wedding at once, without any delay. You will become queen of this land.
And so it was done. The miller's daughter became queen, but yet still worried for the day when the little man would come for her firstborn. In a year's time, she brought a fine child into the world and thought no more of the little man she once worried about. And then one day, he appeared suddenly in her room, seeking her promise to be fulfilled.
Now, give me what you promised me.
Please, no. I can give you all of the riches in the kingdom, but please don't take my child.
No, I would rather have something living than all the treasures in the world.
The queen began to lament and to weep, so that the little man had pity upon her.
I will give you 3 days, and if at the end of that time you cannot tell me my name, you must give the child to me.
The queen spent the whole night thinking over all the names she had ever heard, and sent a messenger through the land to ask far and wide for all the names that could be found. And when the little man came the next day, she began asking him if any of these names were his.
Casper, Melicor, Balthazar, Hannah, Erica, Lydia.
None of those are my name. You have 2 more days, and if you still cannot guess, your child will be mine.
The queen sent to inquire of all the neighbors what the servants were called, including all of the most unusual and singular names.
Perhaps you are called roast ribs, sheepshanks, spindleshanks, Liz, Jaden, Grant, Emma.
None of those are my name. You have 1 more day, and then your child will be mine.
The final day had come. The queen sent out the messenger once more to scour the whole land, including the forest and farms. The messenger came to the queen with good news.
My queen, I've not been able to find one single new name, but as I passed through the woods, I came to a high hill, and near it was a little house. And before the house burned a fire, round the fire danced a comical little man, and he hopped on one leg and cried,
Today I do bake, tomorrow I brew, and the day after the queen's child comes in. And oh, I'm so glad that nobody knew that my name is Rumpelstiltskin.
Oh, joy! That sounds exactly like the little man that helped me. Therefore, his name must be Rumpelstiltskin.
Suddenly, the little man appeared in the room.
Now, Mrs. Queen, what's my name?
Are you called Jack or Charles?
No,
Are you called Harry or Robert?
no,
Are you called Sophia or perhaps Christopher?
no.
Then perhaps your name is Rumpelstiltskin.
The devil told you that. The devil told you that. There is no way you should have been able to guess it.
In his anger, he stamped with his right foot so hard that he became a cloud of dust and disappeared, never to be seen again. The royal family was able to live in peace for the rest of time, never again to hear the cries of the old, tiny man by the name of Rumpelstiltskin.
I played Rumpelstiltskin.
I played the miller's daughter and the queen.
I played the king.
I played the miller and the messenger.
I played the narrator. Thanks for watching!